Okay, Taurus, so part two, Patreon. We're going to try to get some concluding messages, spirit of gratitude, joy, love, and light, highest possible messages for Taurus. Love, December 2021. What do they need to know? What do they need to know to do? And all that good stuff. Let's see. Okay, the Lover's card. Very interesting. Twin flame soulmate. And not to get personal, but I guess to get personal because it's on the brain. But, this person I fancied was my twin flame soulmate. I actually have this banner over there. I'm going to move the camera over there on the wall. That's the twin flame soulmate wall. I'm going to put the camera back on me. Because that's what I believe she was. Now, interestingly enough, I heard recently on a TikTok video that, and I know that sounds how it sounds, but that someone who is into like the twin flame journey and tarot, I think, I'm not sure what she practices, but she was speaking about the twin flame journey, says that before you meet your twin flame, you meet a false twin flame. And, who's to say that this person wasn't a false twin flame? But sure enough, the twin flame card comes out here. This is Gemini energy, by the way, springtime energy. This is about, the six is about harmony, balance, peace, things of that nature. And again, we mentioned in the first half of the reading, that's something that, in order to have this kind of be the best relationship it could be, it requires this kind of harmonious balance. And just when we're getting that, again, if somebody is trying to buck that system or buck that, then it's like, yeah, you're going to have this kind of falling out or divorce energy with the Four of Wands in reverse. So, again, the twin flame journey, I apply those soulmate energy cards, the Two of Cups, the twin flame card, not only to just romantic relationships, but I mean, we're talking about love, and so it's implied that it's a romantic relationship, but I have to mention that I do apply it to like work and occupation. That's more so for if this is a money reading, but something that you're meant to be doing or meant to be working on, or for with the Two of Cups, Two of Cups and the Lover's card, like a soulmate occupation, or you're in your purpose, or you're where you need to be. But again, this could be primarily just relationship based, in which case, yeah, it kind of does speak to this Four of Wands in the reverse, is like, falling out, divorce energy. It could be after the holidays as well. Maybe, if things aren't completely done, then this is when they'll pick up. The Temperance card in reverse, again, it's like falling out of your divine timing, falling out of your path. I read it as, I mean, in a weird way, you can never really be not on your path because we're always connected to source. But I think that like layers and levels to an onion, I feel like there are certain like layers and levels in which, yes, you could reject that twin flame path, so to speak. Interesting story is that I found out that after the woman that I was living with planned to move out and stuff, and she didn't tell me that she was doing so. She was like, I'm gonna pick up a few things. Meanwhile, she's like full on packing, so we can't even, and she wouldn't even talk to me. I woke up and I was like at the door, like, can we talk for like 20 minutes plus. Like, I wasn't yelling or getting mad, but I was like, can we at least talk? Could we have a heart to heart? Like, you owe me that. Like, what the hell? It was insane. It was like beyond belief, fact or fiction. Shout out to that show, by the way, on Amazon Prime, which I love. But I was in disbelief, but it is what it is. But point being is that, like, a kind of example of being off your timing in some extent. She went to a comedy show yesterday. She's a comedian, like I said, not like a famous comedian, but she's a comedian nonetheless. And she got her car hit. And tell me why that was like the first time that's ever happened that we've been together. And I feel like, yeah, she's not aligned with her energy. Hence, her car got hit in some way, shape, or form. That happened with my other ex when she decided to break up with me and move out. Granted, that was a different situation, somewhat similar, but I was in a worse place. She like tripped and fell out of the bathtub. She passed out basically, and she hit the door jamb. And it was almost like this kind of karmic thing. But from like forcing the separation in a connection or a dynamic that maybe spirit didn't want you to force apart. But again, not wishing ill will to anybody, but it just seems very odd that, like, why would her car get hit to the point where she can't drive it? I mean, unless she lied or made it up, but so that I could give her back her stock money. But it just seemed weird that that would happen, right then as you're planning to just bail on me and do it in such a way where you're just not talking. Very ego driven, where you're not communicating or anything. Needless to say, this needs to be kind of deeply healed with the star card. She is an Aquarius moon, by the way. I know I'm giving you like all the info on her. Aquarius is the star card on the tarot. What else can we say? I think Jupiter and Saturn are in Aquarius right now, but it's this idea of, there's going to be, there still needs to be some healing done. And don't get me wrong, I don't think the quote-unquote healing journey is ever done, but when people are kind of keeping tabs on their own kind of like self-sabotages and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we have Aquarius, Jupiter, Saturn in Aquarius over the 5th house of Leo. This is playful fun, dynamic, dramatic expression, childlike wonder and awe. Could be kind of boastful, courageous, braggadocious. Like I said, Jupiter's about expansion. In Aquarius, it's like groups of friends, humanitarian efforts, helping, making a dramatic display or show of things. So I could definitely see that being like her friends. Again, that Aquarius humanitarian effort and energy, like coming and being a part of this dramatic stage play of them kind of boxing her things. But in the reverse, it's like you need to internalize that energy and not externalize and point the finger and make it about, just your ego is bruised, and so I'm going to take this kind of dramatic effort. 3 of Pentacles, this is the moving out card. Coming out of association, coming out of quality, skilled effort, labor, time dedicated to something, somewhat of a venture. Capricorn energy, that could have been something long withstanding, really. And it's very interesting because, juxtapose Jupiter in Aquarius in the 5th house is that ruling planet Saturn of Capricorn in the 5th house Aquarius, which is like lessons and limitations. So she may have reached her limitation and, thinking that she's going to, show me a lesson. But like I said, that's an egoic thing to do, to try to balance the scales itself. And again, it's a misinterpretation of my act of raising my voice and trying to communicate, because it wasn't done out of like hatred or anger or violence or whatever, but it just so happened to kind of bruise your ego and put you in check because you're acting like a brat that doesn't want to communicate. So it's like, instead of humbling yourself and trying to see what I'm saying, it's this dramatic display or expression. So what's being kind of spoken to now is the 9 of Wands in reverse. This is letting go of resentments, Sagittarius energy. I believe Venus just left Sagittarius. We talked about Capricorn. Venus is in Capricorn, I believe. 9 of Wands in the reverse is like, look, you got to let that shit go. You got to open up. You got to put down your resentments and your barriers and your walls. So Taurus, if this is you or if this is someone around you, this is what you got to work on, or this is what they got to work on, is what's being said here. I think that there's a way where you could kind of break it off with someone and move out if you feel like anxious or like you're stuck, and that's kind of like making you anxiety prone. But I don't know that it's necessarily needed to just kind of like cut the head off the snake and just like, no longer have love for that person. I just find that it's very odd, but it speaks to, someone just really having hate, I guess, and sadness in them, as opposed to just like happiness and love and all that stuff. So that's where we're at. This is again Taurus Patreon Part 2, Love December 2021. I'm going to leave it there. Holler at your boy for one-on-one reading, something more tailor-made and customized to you and your situation and your questions. Readings are done over video, phone, chat, messenger, IM, direct message, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Just reach out either on Run and Gun Tarot, one of the social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Tumblr is Consciously Arriving. It's how it's spelled, one word. Or you could just check out the website, runandguntarot.com. That's run and A-N-D, tarot.com, which has all the links to the social media. And anyway, all my contact info is there in some way, shape, or form. Phone, text, social media. Just send me a DM or a text message. I prefer you kind of set up the readings with the text message before a call, just so I know what to expect. Or, you could also go to the Calendly link on the Instagram to book a reading if you want a time slot. So that's what I have for you, Taurus. Love you guys. Holler at your boy. Peace.